watch a lot of reality television. In fact, it's mostly what I watch. As you know, I enjoy the 90 Day Fiancé franchise in all its beauty, glory, and varied hues. I also enjoy Below Deck and Great British Bake Off and Great British Menu and MasterChef, The Professionals UK, which is still not available in the United States. Anyways, once in a while, some weird thing will come up on your dumb shows that you're watching to forget stuff that's bothering you usually. And you're like, oh my God, wait a second, what is that? So I'm watching Below Deck, and they made something for a charter called a South African Melktert, or Melktert. So I'm like, what the H is that? So here we are, South African Melktert. Let's go. So basically, this is like pudding in cookies. It's a cookie crust. I think we've made one before. But an interesting thing is that I pride myself, personally, in being able to tell the difference between an Australian accent and a South African accent. To an American ear, it's quite subtle. You can tell a very slight vowel difference in the South African accent, but it's similar to an Australian accent, but it's less round. Do you guys agree? Tell me if you agree. Can you tell the difference between an Australian accent and a South African accent? Answer below. If you're Australian or South African, that's an absurd question, I'm sure. But maybe it's not directed at you guys. So first of all, I don't have the pan that the recipe we found that made the most sense to me wants. She wants me to use a tart pan with a removable bottom. On Below Deck, he used a springform. I'm gonna use a springform because it's kind of like a cheesecake. It's like a pudding cheesecake. I'm going to prepare the pan with Everbake. You will never go back from this product, I'm telling you. It is, for some reason, the best one I've ever used. And of course, it's endorsed by King Arthur Flour. We're coming to see you someday soon. Preparing the pan. And then I'm just gonna wipe this with a small amount of paper towel. It's a lot of South African people on Below Deck. Have you noticed that? And Australian, and English, not a lot of Americans. Prepared pan, I don't know if it's gonna come out of the pan. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but there you go. Cookie crust. They would like you to use a package of cookies from South Africa that we don't have. So I bought a package of, essentially, these are Israeli, right? Look at my new readers. Product of Israel. Dude, I knew that. Isn't that amazing? And these are just vanilla cookies. I also bought some chessmen that I might have just checked for quality the other night. These are good. I love these. I'm gonna mix in a couple of chessmen. Oh, those smell good. I'm putting them in. What do I have to do first? I'm using chessmen because they're very boucherie. They want 7 ounces, so that's approximately 7 ounces. Process. You want about a stick of butter, but look at your thing when you're doing it because it might be too much butter. And then what we're gonna do is put it in this huge pan. I don't think there's enough. Put it in this pan and press it down. Start there. Oh, you definitely need the whole thing. Okay. So we're gonna make it sort of like a cheesecake base. We're not gonna go up the sides. I'm doing it sort of the way they did it on the show. This is a solid recipe, but A, I don't have the pan she wants, and B, I don't have the pan she wants. So I'm just gonna gently remove this, but we're just gonna put this in the bottom and press it into a crust. So I'm just gonna literally do this. But because we're using the spring form, we're not making a cup. We're just praying to God it'll form a shape. My suspicion is it will set. It's like a big custard. Okay, now this should go in the fridge to get super robust, okay? Fridge. Okay, so we're gonna make the filling while Regina is tending to boiling the milk. The milk has to be very hot because we're going to essentially be making a creme pat in this dish. Trust me, I've never done it, but that's what this sounds like to me, okay? So in here I have 1/3 cup of cornstarch, called corn flour in England, don't be confused, and South Africa. And I have 1/3 cup of regular flour. I'm just gonna homogenize that quickly. Then I'm going to add a cup of sugar. I'm gonna put some salt. I think it'll set enough to be on the flat bottom, based on this. Then we're going to add, she wants 3 eggs. Probably should be 4 eggs, but we're gonna do 3 eggs. And this is a make-ahead dessert, okay? It has to be in the fridge for at least an hour to set after you make it. So it's a good thing to make in advance of a party, and it's unusual. So I'm just mixing this as one thing, and I'm also gonna put the vanilla paste in here, which I will now finally pronounce correctly as Halala. Like you see here, that they've been putting under me saying Halala for about a year. Here we go. You want a lot of that because it's delicious with the cinnamon. And I sprinkled a little cinnamon and nutmeg into the milk that we are boiling. Okay, I'm now going to pour this into here. It's cool because nobody's ever heard of it. But it's also still a little bit wintry in flavor because it has those nutmeg and cinnamon. Okay, I'm now whisking this, but not too aggressively because it has flour in it, until it's well blended. I need a spatula. If we have any people watching in South Africa and I'm doing this hilariously wrong, that's funny too. I'm telling you, it's a creme pat. Okay, now we're just waiting for the milk to boil. It should boil any second. There it goes. This is when you turn away and it boils over. All right, so this is the milk that we boiled with a little cinnamon and nutmeg in it. And this is the mixture from the mixer that I put in here so it's easier to pour. This is a little bit difficult because you're creating a custard. So you want a thin stream while whisking, okay? Otherwise you're gonna cook the eggs into scrambled eggs, which you don't want. So I'm whisking this in, sort of tempering it as we go. Na 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 na. I don't know how you did this on a boat. Na 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 na. Now, she wants you to do this for 15 minutes or until the filling pulls away from the side, okay? Now, the reason why you have to stir it is so the eggs cook evenly and also so it doesn't burn or boil over. So it's basically a pudding filling. Okay, we have our pudding that is pulling away from the sides. I'll show you what that means. When I do this, it doesn't flop back on the side. So when I stir it, it pulls away. What she's really wants you to do is for it to look like this. Now this is boiling hot. It's gonna set, I hope, into a sort of a cheesecakey type deal. Now I'm actually gonna do something slightly extra here, which is I'm gonna take this small piece of butter and I'm going to run it around. Oh, there you go. I did a Cockney accent and a posh accent. I'm gonna do something extra. I'm gonna make some cinnamon sugar, which consists of doing this. Putting cinnamon into sugar, all right? And then I'm gonna dust the sides of this and some of it will stick. Now this doesn't get baked. It just goes in the fridge. I'm just kind of dusting along the sides and I'm gonna kind of knock it out at the end. because I buttered it. This is gonna make it kind of special. So my new thought is this is sort of a love-intensive recipe. 15 minutes of stirring a custard, and I don't know, it seems like a pretty nice thing to me. Okay, now somehow I'm going to put this completely setting pudding into this thing. Then we're gonna let it cool, then we're gonna fridge it. It's definitely gonna make a set tart. Okay. Like, I would probably only make this if somebody asked for it. It's labor intensive, and it makes a big mess also. But it's kind of beautiful and unusual, right? I mean, like, this step alone is a pain. This is burning me. Moderately, just under severe. Oh, now it's lessening. So either I've burnt all my nerves or it's cooling. Okay, here we go. I'm not gonna bang it. I'm just gonna kind of smooth it out. It's already setting. And then when it's perfectly set, we're gonna do a really fancy thing on top using a stencil. All right, it's so set that I'm a little concerned about the surface not being flat, so I'm just gonna go over it again. It's setting on site. Now I have to stop because it's showing now spoon drags. You see that? It's kind of beautiful. Hey, it's my first one. It's delightful. It's certainly not low calorie. It's basically pudding pie, okay? Here we go, milk tart. That's gonna cool, and we're gonna put a beautiful design on top. Melktert. Ooh, that's good. This might be a winner. Cool it outside of the fridge. Never put warm stuff in your fridge. It can raise the temperature in your fridge, and it can cause bacteria to grow on other things. That's why you don't put warm things in the fridge. After you really cool it in the fridge, you could put a saran wrap over the top and serve it in 2 days if you wanted. So here's our Melktert that's been cooling. And before we put it in the fridge, look at this cool stencil. I'm gonna try to put a cinnamon sugar stencil on top and then somehow remove the stencil without destroying the pattern. What I'm gonna use is a little bit of confectioner's sugar and cinnamon, and regular sugars in here too. Just make it a little bit darker. The question is, how the hell are we gonna get this off? I don't think it made the pattern. Okay, it didn't really work. The stencil was a little bit bent, so instead of leaving it like this, which is kind of weird, I'm gonna just put this all over it, kind of. Obscure the pattern a little bit. We'll put this in the fridge to set, and now it has sort of a cute brown top. Okay, here we go. Fridge. So when I take this out, it will be a perfect South African Melktert. You might want to spring it on people. Ours worked out pretty good. Milk tart. Be smart. Keep going. Na 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 na. I don't know how you did this on a boat. Na 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 na